our very first game that we're going to be reviewing today. The very first 5-star game. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Of what could it be anything else? The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a spectacular game. Burp. We don't edit these burps out here. For those who are new to any of my content, for some reason, I'll go a whole lifetime not burping. I'll go a whole days, weeks, months, and then the moment I start talking for any extended period of time, every 5 seconds I find myself needing to belch. So that's where we're going to be at today. Our first game, The Witcher 3, 5 stars. Again, could it be any other game? I can't remember what prompted me to pick up The Witcher 3. I honestly can't remember the first time I sat down. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get The Witcher 3. I'm going to play this game. RPGs and me have always had a tough time. The action-adventure RPGs, where your hand is held a little more, I had, a better time with. But, like, your Skyrims, your Fallouts, I wasn't able to appreciate them at all until I played The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 it took my, anti-RPG brain and it flipped it around. And it was like, this is what, it was the first game I, put, hours into. I was worried about how many hours did I put into this save? What level am I at? How much gear? I was really living that RPG life of a character build, and I'm not just, shoving myself through the story, because I love stories. They're my favorite part of games. But the cool thing about The Witcher 3 is that, the main story is incredible. Incredible. All the side stories are just as brilliant, and sometimes maybe even a little better, and sometimes kind of take you away from the main quest, because you're like, I want to see what's going on here. Even just going around playing Gwent, the game they put within a game, the multiple character arcs, the feeling that your choices mattered in the biggest way possible. Of course, there's a few, you can see the seams a little bit, if you kill. And by the way, all these reviews contain spoilers. If you haven't played them, you just turn them off. Sorry, don't watch, please. But if you kill King Radovid, it doesn't seem like the world notices too much. There's a couple of things here and there that are a little funky, but for the most part, every little, even little itty bitty side quest seem fleshed out. They seem it seems like a lived and breathed world. And I played it on my PS4, and it kind of changed how I looked at games. I think I got it maybe a year after it came out, so I got the what they call it, the Ultimate Edition or whatever, that had the 2 DLCs just kind of already pre-packed in. So I never dealt with the pre-launch bugs that maybe other people had to deal with. I never had to deal with any problems. I just popped this game in and I got 120 hours. That was how much my single playthrough was, not hitting playing it relatively my style, which is charge forward with the main story, kind of fucked side quests. I'm not in the mood for this. I played it in a relatively me style and still got 120 hours of the base game and both DLCs, with probably hundreds of more hours I could have sunk into it. And then, you go away and go into other games, but you occasionally come back to it. And honest to goodness, as much as I've gone back and played this game a second time, I haven't done a proper second playthrough. I mean, a true, proper second playthrough where I play through the whole thing like I did the first time, a second time, and I haven't felt the need. I got so much out of that first playthrough that, the other 2 times I come back, I'm just experimenting, having a little bit of fun. And I think I'm going to wait for the next gen version, because I have a Series S. If I am going to do another playthrough, I already know this is a 5-star game. Who else needs to talk about this game? Everyone's already talked about the game. It's been talked about. It's been mentioned countless numbers of times by countless numbers of creators. I'm kind of just shouting into the void here that The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is probably one of the greatest games of all time. So I look forward to my next playthrough when the next gen version comes out. But everything that needs to be said about this game has probably been said, and it serves as a great bar. I really think out of all the games I'm going to talk about, I could talk about games that I find to be my favorite, that I have a personal attachment to, even 5-star games that I have a personal attachment to. But in my mind, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a perfect video game. It's the best video game ever made. and it's the bar for all games: action adventure RPGs, regular RPGs, card games, story-driven games. Just it sets such an incredibly high bar that it deserves a 5 out of 5 star rating. So that is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And I am curious to look at the Metacritic ratings. So as we do that, I'm going to pull up the pull it up right here. I'm going to pull up the kind of web browser so we can follow along here with any notes that I might be pulling up. But obviously, it says right here, it was released for PC, PS4, Xbox One in May 2015. And the Switch version, which I want to talk about in a minute, came out in October, 2019. Next gen planned for Q2 of the coming year. And we'll talk about that Switch thing in a minute, but I'm going to go on Metacritic here. Metacritic. And we'll see The Witcher 3. Let's see what it ended up coming up. So, yeah, 92%. Universal acclaim. I strongly feel that I am not alone in my assumption that this is the greatest game of all time. So, Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, both of its DLCs. The DLCs together, I think Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone, like the two of them together almost equal the amount of content that was in the Witcher 3 base game, which is insane. And it really spoiled. It was the first DLC I ever really dove into. Again, it's just not how I played games. I played sports games, or I'd go pick up a disc game at EB Games, and like that's what I'd play for a while and trade it in. You know, like I didn't fuck around with DLCs or anything of that nature. So, yeah, it sits alone. And before we leave, let's talk about that Switch version, which I own and I've played. I've played on a regular Switch and I played on a Switch Lite. And the Switch, it almost feels like everyone got a little cocky because, and I can't remember who, and I actually am going to look it up here. The people who did the Switch version of The Witcher 3, incredible. Did an incredible job of port. It's the Miracle port. And I don't know if it's the same people who did the Doom port. I'm trying to find it here. Who did the Witcher 3 Switch port? Saber Interactive. And then who did the Doom Switch port? Oh shit. Who did the Doom Switch port? Who did the Doom Switch port? Panic Button. Okay. I know Panic Button did a couple of them too. So it looks like Panic Button and Saber seem to have like this, unnatural talent for making these Switch ports, because people got cocky in the beginning. Like, look, we have Doom, we have, Switch. Excuse me. We have The Witcher, we have Doom running great on the Switch. And I got excited. I was like, damn, like a lot of really popular third-party games are getting really decent Switch versions. And then after that, it kind of has just fallen apart. Especially those GTA Definitive Editions. Holy mackerel. I do not have a review for them yet. Let me play them on the Switch, because they are being judged by their by the quality they have on the Switch. So, Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, 5 stars. You know what? Even that Switch port, that would get 5 stars too. If I played The Witcher 3 for the first time on the Switch, I still would give it 5 stars. Fantastic game. Great place to start.